Esta conferencia comenzará a grabarse.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Ula.
Antonio.
Thank you for coming.
Good morning, Antonio. This is Ramon.
Good morning, Ramon. Bon dia, Elena.
Buon dia, Antonio.
Buongiorno, Ilaria.
Buongiorno, Antonio.
Bon dia, all of you.
Bon dia, Aurora.
Bom dia.
Good morning, everybody. Bom dia.
Bon dia, Vasco.
Buenos dias.
Good morning.
So, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. As we are going to be quite a lot of people, please could you put off your mic if you are not speaking? Okay, it will be easier for everyone. Thank you very much. I see two mics open now. Elena, Moura, and Lauren. Please, if you
I'm
put
trying.
your mic off. Thank you. So we have a lot of things to speak about and very interesting people here with us participating in the reflections. So I will let Ula introduce the thematics for today, and we will start immediately. Ula, it's your turn. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio, and good morning to everybody. On the topic of linking European industry with public buyers to solve the current shortages of the medical and protective items. First of all, regarding the update of what's going on in this area, I strongly invite you to use the portal which we have created, the portal on the European Cluster Collaboration Platform, because in preparation for what I'm going to tell you, I was checking it out whether all information is really on. And if you go on the portal, what I'm telling you now, you find this different you find the links. You do not find each document uploaded there, but you find the links. And one which I sent also before, just to Antonio, who is had it just on the screen, is since yesterday there is an information, a guidance document from the European Commission, which has been published on how to use the public procurement framework in the emergency situation. Because during an emergency situation, the normal public procurement rules can be deviated, and all the details on how this can be deviated is in this legal document. This legal document is available in all European languages. I just copied the PDF in English here, but if you are on the portal and you click on the guidance document, you get to the official journal of the European Commission, and in the official journal, you can choose your language. I think this is very important because particularly regional authorities, they have to work in their national language, and therefore it is important for them because there is often a high legal uncertainty what a public procurement body can do. And the colleagues working in this area, of course, kind also of afraid of doing something or jumping procedure which are not allowed. So this document makes very clear what is now possible in crisis times and what not. So because it says in the document, just to say that firstly, in cases of urgency, the public buyers can avail themselves of possibility to substantially reduce the deadlines to accelerate open or restricted procedure. But they can also, if these flexibilities are not enough, they can go in a negotiated procedure or eventually even a direct award to a pre-selected economic operator. So really that shows, and I'm not going in more detail, but I invite you also when being in discussion with regional authorities to refer them to these documents. I don't know how well spread it is already, but it was only published yesterday. So also yesterday, not on yesterday, but more state aid documents, national state aid, how to help the SMEs have been put in place. And every day is coming in because we are having a lot of inter-service consultations where we have to look at these documents. So also the different state aid documents are published on the portal, and you can have a look for your respective country. And the third important element is that there is this 37 billion fund now in place since August 1st of April. And this is called the Coronavirus Response Investment Initiative, CRII. And again, you find it on the portal, and there's a link then also with the different languages. So I think it is important because this is a big pot of money, this 37 billion, which can be used also for the buying of medical equipment. And it also points to the EU Solidarity Fund, which additionally makes 800 million available. In this document, I also saw that there is a special task force and a digital platform from DG Regio, and we are now reaching out to them to see how we can link it up. But I think these three documents give you the current frame, and it has shown that since the 1st of April, these measures are in place. I think these are the key points I wanted to mention.
Thank you very much, Ula. They are really key in these moments. I have shared the link to the first one in the chat, and I will share also the link to the Cluster Collaboration Forum, forum and web page now in the chat also. Okay, and we will continue. So Maria Ramirez is here, I suppose. Maria, are you there? I don't see.
Antonio, finally, he couldn't attend to the meeting because he don't have the approval of his institution to participate.
Okay.
Because he have very few time to respond. I think it's Rogero Stalot. I don't know if he's with us. I'm sorry. I'm going to call him because he is going to represent the purchasing in healthcare. I will call you and see you if.
No problem. We will jump to Leila Mehain.
Okay.
And later we could give him the opportunity to speak. Okay. Okay. So is Leila there? Leila? No. We are
Antonio?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello?
Hi, good morning, everyone. It's Anaïs speaking. I just wanted to mention I also invited Bertrand Vert from the European Commission, from the EIC. Maybe he will join in the next minutes because they have a special public procurement schemes for healthcare providers. I can share the documents also with you because they're doing an event very soon on this. And also because we were in the public procurement sphere, I asked one of the colleague in the cluster, World in the Healthcare System and Digital Health, Jorge Gonzalez, that works with Annette in a public procurement project. And they're actually doing a lot of things now, especially in the digital health for what's coming up. I don't know if they can just briefly, while the other connect, maybe explain what they do. Would that be okay?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Oh, sorry, Lisa.
Yes, sorry, France Clusters invited its partner regions and other territorial authorities, part of the think tank we created for them to exchange on at national level on cluster issues. And Leila Mehan is from Région Hauts-de-France, and I think I saw Yannick Giry, who is the deputy head of in charge of economic partnerships, is online, and also Christine Garotta from the Sud Provence Côte d'Azur region is also online, and also Véronique Hochstein from the Île-de-France region. So just to let you know that we have several participants here to present how they deal with clusters. And as cluster managers, Stéphane Vérin from Eura Materials in Région Hauts-de-France is present as well, as you can see, and I think Patrick Briomos from Eura. Yeah.
Perfect. Who will be the first?
Hi, this is Jorge Gonzalez. I have no problem being the first. But
no, sorry. Yes. Go ahead. Sorry, Jorge.
So, is it okay if I share my screen with the others to?
For sure.
Okay. So, thank you for inviting me. I'm Jorge Gonzalez. I'm the managing director of the TIP-Biomed. We are a cluster, a gold-level cluster that we specialize in digital health. We are located in Spain, but we operate at European level. And I would like to introduce the in-demand model, which is a model that we have been applying in a project, the in-demand project, where Annette was participating. And here what we are trying to do is to innovate in how procurers incorporate innovation. So I guess that you are familiar with the pre-commercial procurement and public procurement of on innovation instruments, but our experience is that they are sometimes very complex to incorporate by healthcare organizations in particular. So we come up with a new approach where clusters also play a role in this model. I guess that you all can see my screen. The idea is that we start with a demand, we start with a challenge, we start with a need, in this case from a healthcare organization, and it can be from any public administration, okay? And what happens is that usually these organizations, maybe they don't have so much money for innovation, or they don't want to take the risk, so they don't do anything. And what we are saying is like, what about if we leverage these challenges and we leverage the money that is in every region to promote innovation? For example, in the regional development agencies that they manage structural funds in every region, okay? So the calls that these organizations usually launches, that is usually against the ideas of the companies. These times, the ideas of the companies have to be against the challenges proposed, but in our case, the healthcare organization. So they launch a call, companies apply, and the best company or the best proposal, what they get is they get three things. The first thing is money. to run a pilot. For me, very, very important is that they collaborate, they co-create the solution together with the challenger. So in our case, for example, the healthcare professionals that propose the challenge, and a cluster, a business supporter provides business support, because we are following here like the SME instrument approach, because we believe that just throwing money to companies is not enough, especially the companies are kind of new or green. So the business supporter, the cluster, what it delivers is business support in terms of business modeling, access to private funding, and go-to-market strategy. So at the end of the process, what we finished here is like the company delivers a pilot that has been validated in a potential customer.
Jorge, thank you very much. I think that we are facing an urgent situation. So we need to think on tools just for now that could solve the urgent need. Okay, but I totally agree with your proposal in the future. Okay.
Okay, so I switch.
Sorry, Jorge.
Just give me 1 minute. 1 minute.
No. Just 1 minute, please, because
1 minute. 1 minute, I finish, Antonio. So what we have done, apart from this, is that we have collected more than 100 solutions in digital health to fight against coronavirus. This is an open and free platform, and everybody can join, and it's available for all healthcare procurers that are interested in incorporating tools fighting against coronavirus. Okay, this is the two things that I wanted to present. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Please.
Okay, Jorge, thank you very much to you. Okay, that's a very good example that what you are doing immediately. Thank you. My proposal was to have first the point of view of the buyers, not the clusters, because I think that first we need to understand what they need, and we need to hear them. So please, now the floor is for them, and later we will speak about what clusters can do to help them. Okay. So, Lisa, do you have a proposal? Who can participate now?
Sorry, maybe Yannick Giry from the Région Hauts-de-France or Leila Mehan.
Thank you.
But I don't know if they're still there. Yannick Giry, are you there? If they are not there, maybe Christine Garota, would you like or would you like to present what you are doing in the Région Hauts-de-France?
Hello, I am not Région Hauts-de-France. I am Christine Garota, Sud, Provence Alpes-Côte d'Azur.
Sorry.
It's all right. We are having several meetings with our poles and pole de compétitivité and clusters once a week, and the following one is at 10 today to know what they do for their firms, and at the same time we are identifying firms that are able to change the productions to prepare gel and masks and other things that can be used for coronavirus. So we have a small list of firms that we check by phoning, and that we phone in order of emergency. For instance, we have a cluster called Pôle Service à la Personne that works in health and disabled persons and old persons who have nearly nothing to protect them, and we identify between clusters For instance, we found in a cluster called Cap Energy a firm that had masks unused, and it's very artisanal for the moment. We make them meet and take the masks. That's all I can say for the moment.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup, Christine. Okay.
Maybe the region Île-de-France, if Véronique Hochstein wants to present also what they're, you know, we have a very critical situation in Île-de-France and in Paris in particular.
Yes, and I'm really sorry. I'm afraid I'm not the right person today. We decided to join this webinar just yesterday without a lot of information about its content. We tried to reach our colleagues in charge with emergency measures and procurements because they are the right person to for today. But as you can imagine, they're very busy, and we have no answer, not yet. I hope they will connect this morning. They will join us, but I'm afraid they won't. What I can say so far is that we bought masks. As you know, in France, the situation is critical about masks, and so we try to buy some masks directly from China. We have used the European funds. I think it's maybe 30 or 20 or 30 millions of euros to buy those masks. I don't know the part of the European funds that will be used for this procurement. And I don't know exactly. I think we're still looking for masks, but now the French government has ordered a lot of masks too. So we have to, I suppose we're just we're just dealing not to how to say that. I mean, we have to act in good. I mean, oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking for the words, the right words. We have to do it together with the French government, and I don't know what are the other needs because we have many measures, but most of them are not directed to sanitary directly measures, except the mask for the moment. But what we could do, what I could propose you this morning, is to know exactly what is your offer, your different offers, and inform my colleagues of what you can propose, different clusters all around Europe. Give them the information in order that they could reach you in case they need something that you can propose. I don't know if I was
yeah,
clear enough.
that could make sense. The point of this session is just to understand what they need and work to align our capacities to their needs. Okay, so the problem that we think that we have now is that we don't have the connection because in this we are out of the comfort zone. Okay, so your proposal is, I think, very good, and we need to elaborate on it. Okay, but thank you very much. Any other?
Just to add quickly something, what we can do too is ask them after these sessions what are their needs, and if we have a mail of any of you, we could give you this list in case we have one.
Perfect. I think that's perfect. Anais, would you collect this kind of information? I think you are the most proper person.
Okay. Yes, I will definitely. And so I will get in touch with Véronique. No issues. And also because I know the procurers in the RESA network, and maybe if it's okay, because Bertrand Vert from the European Innovation Council is there, and they're actually organizing also some, if I understood correctly, some events with the procurers in the next days. Bertrand, is it okay for Bertrand to talk now or not?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Stefan Berin wants to speak.
Oh,
I think,
sorry,
but
Stefan.
yeah, no, but let's introduce Bertrand. Yes, please,
Okay.
Anais, share your email in the
Absolutely.
chat for everyone, if you don't mind. Okay.
No, I don't mind.
Thank you very much. So Bertrand.
So we can connect. Bertrand?
Yes,
Yeah?
good morning. Yeah, good morning all. Yes, thank you for inviting. And we'll try to be brief, actually, just to explain you a little bit what we are aiming to do. So, as you know, European Innovation Council Accelerator, the ex-European, SME instrument, sorry. How do we decided to try very modestly to support in the crisis? One of the ways, actually, is indeed via the procurement, public procurement, particularly side. So basically, our rationale is just to say, as you may know, we have these 6,000 companies, very innovative companies in the pipeline. Almost 40% of them are covering the health sector at large. And so basically we said, they could eventually help, particularly procurers, meaning hospitals or related healthcare services around Europe. If indeed we succeed, as you rightly mentioned, to first find these procurers. Secondly, if they succeed to write down, to develop their needs list, a shopping list in a sense, and eventually in trying to set up already or to have a vision on the challenges or let's say problems that they are covering, that they are facing in the fight against the COVID. Meaning that these challenges are unidentified needs at this right moment. They just have problems, but they don't know what they would need to overcome these problems. So we are exactly right now running around Europe, trying to find procurers, so direct procurers from certain services of the largest hospitals, or for smallest hospitals, it's often platforms, procurement platforms, or organization procuring for the other hospitals, to reach them and to try to find the ones that still have the time, the energy, and the willingness to work on this list. And once we got it, we'll try to mobilize our companies. That's our approach. So we are very, we are looking for any kind of support in identifying these right buyers from any corner of Europe. So if you would be able to help us in that, we'll be very happy about it. Yeah, that's where we are. If you have any question, just ask. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. I think that we need to share this kind of information between our community. And I want to invite you also to use the forum. Okay, the forum that we have built or the ECCP has built in the area. Okay, you have it in the screen and also in the chat. The forum is intended just to facilitate this kind of exchange of needs. Okay, for sure we need to build the kind of relationship that you are proposing, and we need to create stable links. Okay, but for any urgent need, I encourage you to use the forum. Okay, the European Cluster Collaboration Forum, that could help you to go directly to the world community, and perhaps there you can have the quickest answer to your needs. Okay.
Thank you, Antonio. If I may just add one thing that came to my mind, is just to say that indeed, as it has been mentioned in the discussion previously, the difficulty for us is that we cannot also create false hope. So to be precise, our companies and most of your companies, or the companies you're in contact with, are most of the time not producing for example, these PPE, those protective equipment, meaning gloves and mask and all the basic needs that we all know about now that the hospitals need. That's one thing. The same with ventilators and respiratory machines, and the same with the basic drugs, medications that are already missing in the hospitals. So that's one thing. The other thing is if we get to know some of these companies, the difficulty is that most of the time they are totally overloaded, and some are facing a shortage of supply. And so the thing is that when we are approaching procurers, we are telling them we won't be able to help you on these urgent needs. We can't do that. We are not in touch with this supply chain, and the supply chain is so much disorganized that we can't do it. But we are working in middle and long-term potential needs and problems that you are facing. Just adding a final thing is that I'm since now 3 weeks, I'm in regular daily contact with several procurers. And indeed, I don't want to have a too scary speech here, but the situation is not going at all better in China and in the way how the supply chain is organized worldwide, particularly with the very recent arrival of US purchasers. They are buying everything they can indeed in China, often paying cash before even they receive any material. The second thing that has been mentioned is that despite all speeches and willingness, big announcements of several member states, often when you are willing to purchase very large stocks of masks or other protective equipment, you won't be anyway able to purchase them because there is no such amount of material in China or elsewhere. And also often, very, very often, you will be facing a quality problem when it's not like totally unexisting actually materials. So you have to be very, very careful in trying to purchase abroad, overseas, all these materials. It's really the jungle, and there are a lot of criminals. It's really this, what they are talking about. So be careful with this. So at the end of the day, the answer is yes, trying to produce here in Europe, but recycling industries and moving production lines is far to be easy. And so yeah, sorry for this information.
No, but that's totally right. And that's why we are working to facilitate the realignment or the reorientation of some industries here in Europe in order to make them ready to provide this kind of items. Okay, I know that Ula is working also on that.
Yes, Antonio, if I could just say something on this.
For sure.
Bertrand, Ula Engelmann from DG GROW, and this is part of this initiative which we are having to look into also on additive manufacturing, and that's why we have collected this list of 1,100 companies who are willing to step in, and also on changing production lines. So I think this is something in order to ramp up the production in Europe. And this is also part why we are so actively engaging with the European Cluster Alliance and other clusters. So I think it would be good if also we can link. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I really encourage you to do so. Sorry for that, Antonio. And just insisting on this, from 3 weeks now, I had regular phone calls with procurers from several member states. I'm working actually also with colleagues from and clients or Samira Bousseta, so the procurement unit, innovation procurement unit, and they know exactly what we do. They were even associated to the phone call yesterday. So just to say, yeah, it is really scary what is happening outside. The supply chain is totally disorganized, and most of the time all the suppliers are fake suppliers. There are several new intermediaries that are appearing, so it's really concerning. And I use in purpose the word criminals because it is what they are describing. So just to say that I believe that I'm very modest position, but of understanding what is and observing and knowing what is happening. Indeed, the right way is to, as soon as we can, we won't have result next week, but to try to reorganize the supply chain inside Europe in order to be able to know what we are producing and yeah, to have a production here with CE marking and all the exigences that we need to have on these very sensitive materials.
Perfect.
I'd like Véronique Austin from Paris region. I'd just like to ask two things. Do you think it could be interesting to develop alternative solution regarding to what Bertrand just said previously? Maybe you've heard and you've seen these using of Decathlon diving mask with additive made component which represent an alternative for a respiratory system. Did you see that in hospitals?
We are working on these kind of solutions. Okay. Yes. In fact, we have one session 2 or 3 days ago with about that. And the problem is the problem. The challenge now are the homologation processes, because there are a lot of companies, I would say hundreds of companies in Europe thinking about that and working about that and designing new models. But the challenge is that the homologation processes are slow. And okay. There is one initiative to create one pan-European peer-to-peer organization that will be under our European Cluster Alliance, just in order to help in the process. This is led by Jouka, I don't remember the surname, sorry, from the University of Antwerp. But for sure, we are working on that. We have been working on that for 3 weeks now. But now the challenge, I'm repeating myself, is the homologation. Perhaps we should have a specific session about homologation, but thank you very much. Stefan Berin wants to speak for a long time, I think.
Thanks a lot. I just sent a message in the chat, sorry, because I will need to leave you at 9:30 because I have another call comes, which is next. I will just update you with few elements about the French situation on mask and how we deal and face it. First of all, before talking about that, I will explain that regarding regulations, EC, but it's globally the same regulation across the world, you have two kinds of mask, which is the famous N95, which is called FFP2 in Europe, which is a duck mask, and chirurgical mask, with basically two different roles. The FFP2, the duck mask, is the one which is protect you, because it is the only one which is really able to filter the virus up to 98%. It is why it is the mask which is needed in hospital and needed really for people which are dealing with patients. And the other one, which is a chirurgical mask, is the mask which is protect the others against you, because it's the one which will filter what you are expelling yourself when you are coat or when you to protect the others against you. That's a yes.
Stefan, I will invite you not to go in technicities because we don't have time to go deep in every item. I will invite you to explore the big picture, please.
Yeah, it's just to it's about the big picture and all we face it with it. The problem is basically if you want to produce those masks, you need basically non-moving, spun, melt, spun bond, melt bond, spun bond. Melt bond, only few producers in the world are able to produce melt bond. And to produce melt bond, you need raw materials which are chemicals materials, special polypropylene. Only 4 producers in the world are producing those materials. 1 in Europe, in Austria, 1 in South Arabia, 2 in US. So basically, we've broken the value chains in Europe. We don't have chemical industry. We don't have, so we've broken the value chains, and so we are missing part of the value chains. So basically, the idea is that everybody will be able to produce masks. It's not possible, totally. Only investment for a machine which is able to produce non-moving for mask industries, it's 50 million euro for a line of production, 50. So basically, since 3 weeks, we are working with the French national government, with the defense department, with the industry department at highest level to see how can we sift and produce alternatives to those standards. The decision from the French government said that PPE, official PPE, like the duck mask and surgical mask, will be for hospitals. And if you are working in hospitals, it is the only mask that you should use, because you need to protect yourself and the patients. And we can't take any risk with the lives of patients. So the national regulation said only those masks are efficient. But the question was, how can we produce masks for all the other part of the population with a hierarchy? First, we need to protect the people from the distribution, people which are on the cash desk in supermarket, because if we don't have any more supermarket, we don't have any more food supplier. Or can we protect the people which are in the street to take the trash and to collect the garbage? Or can we protect the people in the industry? So there's a hierarchy. And for those, we need millions of masks. And then the question is also, what will be the next step after the quarantine? Because we know that we will go out one day from quarantine, but we will need to wear a mask for a transition period. And so is why we mobilize with other clusters, with Tectera and other with the French government, we mobilize the industry. So basically, can I take the screen if you?
Yes, but please be brief because we have lots of people waiting. Really, I like very much your presentation, but please be brief.
Okay, I will be brief, and I will. So my screen.
We are studying here in Spain the possibility to use carbon. Carbon is in English, sorry, activated carbon to filter. Okay, and that's the point. We need to look for alternatives, and the industry can have these alternatives.
So basically, what we done, we asked to the textile industry to produce and to try some masks. All those masks has been evaluated by the defense, by the Army Research Center to test them. So we create a database with the materials we use, For example, can you see my screen?
Yes, we are seeing it.
Okay, with the materials we use, and is it confirmed? Do we fail or do we pass the test? So now we have a list of 45 companies which are able to produce masks with different kind of materials. And so basically, and I will just finish with that, the French government decided, besides the French government with us, decided beside the 2 official PPE masks to create 2 new categories of masks. One will be for professionals which are in contact with publics, with high level of protection, not as highest as in the hospital, but with high level of protection, and another level which is more basic for general population. And with that, now which is a decision signed by the Prime Minister, and which is on the now diffused. So we have now a regulation for the industry. So basically, we are coordinating the companies, and we are now able to put those masks on the market. The problem is that we also saw that some companies and people are really, they want to help, and so they create masks. But when we test those masks, it's exactly the same thing if you put a scarf in front of your mouth. So no protection at all.
Thank you very much. I think it's wonderful references. Really, honestly, I think that we need to learn about that. Please go to the cluster platform and share this with us in the ECCP. Okay, please do that, and please send us the documentation, because I really think that we need to spread that information and take a sample of that. Thank you very much.
Just a last point for European Commission, and I will, sorry. Now the next step is, we will do some innovation to increase the capacity of those masks, alternative masks, and trying to reach the same level of official certificate non-movement mask. And for that, we need some innovation, and that we need some research funds to help and support. It could be through Interreg. For example, I just have a question, but for example, we are working with the Belgian partners. We can use Interreg to do that. But during the time a decision is taken with the Interreg process, it will be for the next pandemic, not this one. So we need to speed up the process.
Ula, will you comment on that?
No, I think on Innovation Fund, I think I will leave it to Bertrand.
Yes, sorry, very briefly. Thank you, Stefan. Very interesting presentation. Just to say yes, I mean, and very modestly again, at our level, the XSME instrument, the EIC, yeah, you might have seen that the last cutoff last 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago, yeah, we tried to reorient applicants towards COVID. Indeed, it was not perfect at all because it was very late. We get a lot of complaints because people were preparing their documents since month, actually the application since month, and suddenly almost at the end of the cutoff, before the deadline, we announced that we would like to invite COVID solutions to apply. So we had 1,000. The good news is that we doubled the normal amount of application from 2,000 to 4,000, and on these 4,000, more than 1,200 were at least mentioning COVID issue. Other answer, the next cutoff in May, yes, we are trying to put first more money in the call, and secondly, I'm not sure that we will be able to do so, but we hope. And secondly, yes, alongside Women and Green Deal, we certainly will have a thematic on COVID. But indeed, indeed we need to reorientate certainly the budget, European budget, to support innovation and research. And indeed, our instrument is probably one of the most flexible and one of the quickest, indeed, as you know, 3 months in general to receive an answer. So yeah, we are really doing our utmost to try to be at the right level. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that we have here Roger. Roger, could you share with us?
I can hear you. Yes, yes.
Can you share your experience with us?
No. First of all, thank you for the collaboration, and I can speak instead of the different regional healthcare services because our company works in third-party logistics operator in these health regional services, and for the health services, the main problem in Spain, of course, is the procurement processes of different kinds of products. All the products are used, like face masks, ventilators, coverall dress to protect the nurse staff. This is the main problem because, as you know, all the governments are trying to sell or to supply this kind of products from China or other countries to its countries, and this is there are a stack out now, and it's difficult to supply this kind of product to the hospitals, and this is dangerous for the nurse staff because we can take care of the patients with the basic protective products. This is the current situation, which of course the hospital are trying to find alternative. For example, things that you said, because the additives production, thanks to the 3D printers to make mainly face mask and another products, but the homologation of these products is complicated. As you know, all the medical devices has a long processes to homologate, and this is the main problem. Other problems, all these companies that are producing these products in national companies are producing these kind of products have difficulties to supply or to reach the hospitals. This is an example. For example, I produce a lot of face masks, but I don't know how to supply to the hospitals in terms of transport, in terms of how many masks need this hospital or other, because the COVID in Spain is different if you talk Madrid or Barcelona or another regions of Spain, and it's important to coordinate and decentralize the supplying, no? This, and there are a lot of people thinking or try to coordinate this, and when you know when there are a lot of people thinking or try to coordinate, discoordinate all. And this is the main difficulty now is the current situation in Spain. There are not products. The national companies are producing thanks to the additive production, which are a whole alternative, but it's difficult to homologate, and it's difficult to reach the hospitals or the right hospitals thanks to the transport. This is the difficult.
Thank you very much, Roger. You have touched one critical point, is the logistics. Here, I know that in Spain there are problems with the logistics, and the CITED cluster could play a role. Okay, but there is a lot of people here, and we are closing. We are more
Antonio?
more advanced. Yeah.
Let me just add that in the platform that is being prepared for the European use by Bring Global, we are also attracting transportation companies. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Aurora.
You're
Perfect.
welcome.
Okay. Any other intervention? Adding new point of view, please.
Just to say that in Paris region, we're also in the medium term is also thinking about helping Paris region companies to relocalize a part of their productions in Paris region or in France, and that could lead to imagine new ways of producing goods. But it's a midterm reflection.
We need to think on that midterm. Yeah.
Antonio, Bertrand here. Can I say a few words and before leaving? Sorry for that. Just to say, working since more than 10 years now in procurement, innovation procurement. Just to say that the work from the procureur side is tremendous, is enormous, because the work, the very important word is indeed coordination, coordination, coordination. We even see actually competition amongst procureurs in several member states, and if it's not in all member states, particularly in the ones where actually the central power, let's put it like this, is weaker than elsewhere. So we have competition amongst the regions. In Italy, we've seen that. Even in France, actually, we've seen this competition among procureurs that are trying directly to go directly to China and elsewhere to procure this max. So they are basically taking the needs that the neighboring region needs. They are buying it, and it's the same at the member states level. So the big lesson is that we need to really reorganize and coordinate all the procurement at European level, nationally, regionally, locally. But for that, the big lesson is that we need means, we need budgets. Because at commission level, we try to do so with the revision to the directive in 2014, and the permanent answer from the member state, which was a totally understandable answer, was to say we don't have enough needs to do all the coordination or the monitoring of the procurement that is happening on the ground. You can't ask us this. So and by the way, it comes back to us, the European Commission. Why do member states don't have enough means? The means actually, because they are tied up by the budgets, by the famous 3%. I won't go in a political discussion here, but here it's the core of the issue. It's really like on the supply chain side, it is pretty much organized. When we want to have one person from the pharma industry, we more or less get it in Brussels with MedTech and other kind of lobbies. But from the procurer side, it is actually totally impossible. So we can't have a vision at European level, neither at national level, neither at regional level. And I will just finish just as a lesson also just to say, insisting on the fact that we see that all member states are trying to find solution for their own. France, for example, my own country, organizing like organizing planes from Paris to China is not the right answer. You are just taking the needs that you can find in China. You are taking them from other European member states. It should not be like this, but it is the situation where we are in. So again, the lesson for us for the cluster will be that at middle long term, at your level, to work, to insist, to find the procurers and to push them to be more innovative, to be more coordinated, and to work better with you guys. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Bertrand. Sorry, we are at the European Cluster Alliance. We group something like 740 clusters all across Europe, 123, I think, 1,000 companies. We are at your disposal. Okay, I know that probably you don't know about us, but we are working strongly on that. Okay, so we are really at your disposal, and whatever you think that we could help you, please contact me or contact us, and we will work on it. Okay, because this is an urgency, and we understand that we need to work with all together. Okay, and I don't know if we could do that, something on that coordination, but we will try our best.
And I would just like to add something about Paris region, because I'd like you to understand the real situation here. My colleagues are in daily connection with the Regional Health Security Agency, which is the local part of the National Health Agency. And as far as I know, but I'm quite sure about it, we bought those masks in coordination with the Regional Health Security Agency, and it was some not duck masks that are reserved for hospitals, but chirurgical ones. But for sure, we need more coordination, and I will report your intervention to my colleagues.
Yes, please. And if you think that we could make any action, please, we can speak about that. Whatever you think that it could be good, we can study it. Okay, for sure. More interventions.
Well,
sorry, again, Bertrand, just one very short.
No, sorry. Just the 4 people at the same time. No, please, just one moment. Aaron, the first one.
Yes, I wait.
Oh, sorry. It was Bertrand, perhaps. Sorry, Bertrand, because you need to leave.
Yeah, just a piece of information. Sorry for that. The EIC is organizing a global hackathon, or a European hackathon at member states level. So it's Isidro Lasso organizing it. It's just a piece of information for you. Perhaps you could be associated to it if you know Isidro. Yeah, that's an information for you. It's coming.
Could you put us in contact, because I didn't know about that?
Yes,
we didn't know.
Yes.
And we are organizing a hackathon for clusters. So
very good. So okay, it will be on the 23rd of April. So yes, get in contact with me. I will forward it to Isidro Lasso from the GRTD. Thanks a lot. Sorry again.
Thank you very much, Bertrand. Sorry, Aaron.
Yes, I only want to share the 2 things. One is about the regulation, the FFP regulation. We're using it because it's the one that we have, but it's synced for dust, for work with dust. And then it's synced for work with particles higher than 1.6 microns. But it's known that these droplet-borne viruses use droplets from 2 or 5 microns to 12 microns. Maybe the European Union, with the help of biologists and physicians, could make a different regulation specific for this kind of viruses. And then could be easier to manufacture the mask. Because with other sites, maybe it's easier to find, because this regulation is not for viruses, it's for dust work. Then maybe a change of regulation can help a lot.
We need to speak about regulation.
The second insight is that maybe in a short term we could have problem with India. They can have a big problem, and then we can to be thinking what we are going to do if we lose the drugs, the textiles, and the steel that India produce. It's just thinking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jorge, you wanted to speak?
Yes, I would like to say something. Sorry, I didn't understand the meaning of this presentation at the beginning. You are now very focused on the urgent, that is the ventilators and the mask and the EPIs and all this stuff. And I think it's great. And I think it's great the work that you are doing. But also, I would like to introduce some point of reflection is that sooner or later, people are going to be allowed to get onto the streets. And at that point, it's very important, I think, to avoid that there is a big rebound of infection. For that, the tools that can be used to avoid that are more digital than industrial. And we have, the good thing about that is that we have time to think how the situation is going to be and what kind of solutions we can provide to the people when that time comes, that people start to get closer to each other again, and suddenly we have a peak in infection again. So we are currently in our cluster reflecting about that, and yeah, we would like to share experiences about how we can help the community to avoid infections when the doors are open again for getting out to the street. So you are thinking very much in the short term, and I think is what is needed and critical. But if there is a group or someone that also wants to think more a little bit in some weeks ahead and prepare for the things that are coming for sure some weeks ahead, I think that also could be useful.
You are nominated the leader of that group from now on.
Fantastic.
And we will prepare a session about that, because we totally agree that it's important to think about that. Thank you, Jorge.
Maybe I can ask Antonio if you want, because I will try to help in preparing the agenda for next week, and we could have maybe a session on that. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, I will say for next week we need to speak about homologation.
Okay.
Very important.
Let me just take the good notes so I don't forget. Homologation, yeah.
I will speak also about Jorge's proposal.
Yeah.
Okay. And now I thought about that. We are working also here on facing the unemployment problem that we will suffer. Reskilling probably. I don't know if it will be for the next week or not. Okay, because I don't know if so urgent, but we need to think about that, because we will be at least in Spain facing a big crisis, and this will have a social impact on the unemployment also. We should speak about that.
I have a question. Do we have, sorry for also tomorrow, because I will also have to leave to another telco, but do we have social impact tomorrow as an issue?
Yeah,
as a topic? Yes. Okay, great.
Economic and social impact. You have in my invitation.
Yeah.
That I know that mostly we don't read. Okay, but something I know for a fact. You have at the end sorry. I know. Yeah. Here the list of the next sessions. Okay. I will invite everyone to include for the next session also those agents that are working on the social impacts or economic impacts. Okay.
Okay.
So we try to fit to 1 hour the session. I know that it's very pressing because everything is very important. Okay. Thank you everyone that has been here. This is just one step. We need to take the next ones. We are as Alliance at your disposal. It's very important to say. So don't be shy. Reach for us. I don't know what can we do, but I know there are thousands of companies and 1,000 more or less clusters here in Europe willing to help, willing to put their resources at the disposal of the authorities to solve the situation and the short time, but also in the medium and long time, long place. Okay, so reach for us, please. We are willing. Thank you very much, everyone. See you. We are for those that doesn't know about it. We are meeting every day at 8:30. Talking about different aspects of what can we do. Okay, tomorrow is about economic and social impacts. Anyway, I invite again everyone to share the discussion in the forum, because this is the place where we can add information, suggest, make references, and so on. Thank you very much. Au revoir. Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.
Thank you, Antonio.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Até amanhã.
Até amanhã.
Hasta mañana. Hasta mañana.
Muchas gracias, Antonio. Hasta luego.
A vosotros.